Welcome to this channel where we make statistics simple and easy. If you're not subscribed, kindly subscribe and hit the like button for more videos. So we want to learn about correlation analysis in Excel. And for us to learn about correlation analysis, I have some variables here, that is lane. We have the feed intake, feed conversion rate, and final weight. This variable, we want just to see correlation is whereby we want to see if there is a relationship between two variables. In this case, one of the things that we usually do before even we do any correlation level, and correlation will tell you whether these are the type of relationship. Is it negative? Is it positive? Is it strong? Is it moderate? Is it weak? Or there is no relationship at all. So the primary thing before you even perform any correlation analysis, we tend to draw a scatter plot. And a scatter plot will just give us the visual of how this analysis is. So for us, let's say, for example, we want to do the relationship between laying and feed intake. Then we just select these two variables. And then you go to insert. Then we have this level at the charts level. And then just click the drop down arrow. Once you click the drop down arrow, we have all these, but by default, it just tells you this is a scatter. So you select the scatter plot here. So once you select our scatter plot here, you'll find that our feed intake is in our y-axis and our laying level is in our x-axis. So what we'll do here is we can even rename we can say feed intake versus laying. So that is our chart title. You can still do some other things like modifying this. You can see we don't have any values below 100. So we can put our y-axis to start from 100. So you double click that y-axis and come here. So you say your minimum should start from 100. So once you click your minimum, so you see it tends to look much better, tends to look good. And of course our x-axis is okay. We can leave it the way it is. So the other thing, we can add the axis names. Y-axis is feed intake, and then the x-axis is laying. So that is our scatter plot. Another thing about this scatter plot, we can still add a trend line just to see, does it think that how we can see, just to see how is our relationship, does it tend to fall does it form a straight line, how does it look like? But the way we can see it, we can see that we have a positive relationship on this side. So you can just come here and on the add checkbox here, and then you just click trend line. So without, you can add the equation and all those, but now for so far we are just interested in this. So this tells us that we have a positive relationship between feed intake and laying, but that is the best that our scatter plot can tell us. We don't know the strength. The scatter plot only gives us the direction. The direction is positive. If it could have gone this way, it could be negative. So that is our direction. So that now comes us to correlation analysis. In correlation analysis, Excel has an inbuilt function known as CORREL, which helps us to compute correlation. So you just put the, say, is equals CORREL. It is there. So array1 is the first variable. So our first variable is laying. And you will note that I'm selecting the values only. I'm not selecting the labels or the variable name. And then the other layer, the other array is a feed intake. It should go up to 21. Yes. So that is how to compute, and then you just click OK. And then we are told now it is 0.63. So if it is 0.63, we can say that we have a moderate positive correlation between laying and feed intake. Why is it moderate? We have three levels. We have weak, we have moderate, and we have strong. So anything, our weak goes to 0.3. This one is between 0.3 to 0.6, and this one anything above that. So if it is 0 to 0.3, that is a weak. If it is 0.3 to 0.6, that is strong. If it is 0.6 and above, that one we can say it is strong correlation. So even in our case here, we can say our correlation is 0.3. So it falls within here. So this is a strong positive correlation. And this also applies to the negative or positive. So again, if it could be between 0 to negative 0.3, and then negative 0.3 to negative 0.6, and then negative all to negative 1. So that one we put it, that is why we have weak, moderate, and strong. So the direction might differ, but the strength is just the same. You can say weak, moderate, or strong. It can be positive or negative. But now, in this case, now we can see we have only the correlation level of only two variables. In the event I want to know the correlation between laying and feed conversion rate, again, I will have to do that formula. Again, I'll say CORREL, and then I say laying, I select laying, and then I go to feed conversion rate. Now I get another correlation there. So for this one was laying and this was laying and feed intake, and this is laying and FCR. So you can see that we have a correlation here which is negative 0.76. Where does it fall? It will fall at this level, at negative level. It will fall at this, so it is strong. So you can say there is a strong negative correlation between laying and feed conversion rate. But now I want to do the correlation of all these. I want to see how this one related to this. This one is related to this. This one is related. This one might take a lot of time when I'm computing manually one by one. So that is why Excel has the correlation toolbar in data analysis. So let's go to data at the toolbar menu. Once you go to data, you go to the right hand corner at the top. You have the data analysis. Select data analysis. And then within the analysis toolbar, we have correlation. This correlation, you just click OK. After you've clicked OK, now you can come and select your input range. What is our input range? Input range are the variables. So let us insert our variables. So once we've inserted our variables or our data, that's there. And then how are they grouped? We will tell you how are they grouped. It's grouped in terms of the variables are in terms of the columns. So column A, B, C, D. So those are how our variables are. And then we check this box here of labels in the first row. Yes, we are trailing Excel. The first row is not data. The first row is the variable names. Those are the labels of those variables. And where do you want to put our output? So let us just select our output range to be within this sheet so that we can now compare with what we had computed manually using the functions. So let us just put our output here and click OK. Great. Now we have our results here. So remember, this was the correlation between laying and feed intake 0 point. And then here we get feed intake and laying, which is here, the diagonal feed intake and laying, it is here. So you get it is 0.693. It's just the same. And then this was correlation between laying and FCR. FCR and laying got negative 0.7646.